Hey guys, welcome back to Tower of Fantasy. In today's video, we're going to be going through some beginner tips that aren't necessary for your gameplay, but tips that will hopefully make things more efficient for you or make your gameplay experience more enjoyable. So the first one you can actually do on the global version, if you're watching this as I upload it, we're in the pre-download phase, servers are not live yet, but you can go over into the settings tab and we can take a look at some of the settings. Now, there's a lot of different stuff in these setting tabs that you can play around with and adjust, but the first thing I want to point you guys to is this discharge skill animation. Now, this one is basically when you have the simulacrum equipped or the skin equipped that came with the weapon. If this is on when you do the discharge ability, you will get like a cutscene animation. Now, this is cool the first couple times you do it, but then it starts to get a bit tedious, annoying, and just not too fun. So you want to go ahead in here if it is getting annoying to you. If you just enjoy it, do your thing. But for me, it gets annoying, so I turn this discharge animation off. Then on this first tab as well, my ugly head's in the way, but this one over here that my head is covering the text is auto climb. Now, I like to leave auto climb off. What auto climb is if you have it off, you need to jump onto a wall to cling onto it. When auto climb is on, if you just walk into a wall, your character will latch on. Now, sometimes in closed spaces and stuff like that, it's really frustrating when your character just walks up to a wall and climbs on and you're trying to detach, but it's tight and the camera angles are weird. So I just like leaving it off. There are some situations where turning it back on will be nice. Sometimes on uneven walls that you're climbing, like where you're running up and then they shift a bit, and then as you run up, you want to climb onto them. Sometimes it's tricky to jump onto certain slants of walls. So in those situations, auto climb is nice, but in general, most of the time, I prefer having auto climb off. Moving on from that, let's jump into the display mode. Now, the style settings is something that's very simple. It just changes the appearance. If you like a different style, you can try the different filters and see if you enjoy the visuals of the game more. But the next thing I want to look at is going to be the same screen wanderer here. So what this does is in your server, you'll have a bunch of other players. And what happens is if there's, say, 30 players in front of you and you have this set to 20, the game will only let you see 20 of them. The idea being, I think, is to put less load on your computer trying to put all those characters in the world. But the max you can get is 30. So if you have a decent PC, crank this up to 30 so that anytime there is a character in the world near you, you will be able to see them. Moving on from that, we're going to jump into the camera, and this is one that I really like. And you can change your camera settings, but one that I really prefer is maxing out the camera distance in combat. If you've played other MMOs, I always like having the camera back as far as possible so I can see as much as I can. So setting that camera distance all the way is something that I prefer, but once again, that is a bit of a personal preference. Then we jump here into others, and this has got a bunch of key things. Now, something that I think you should always have on is always show teammates HP bar in instances, because you want to see how healthy your teammates are. You can always revive them if they die as well in a certain period of time, but keeping track of health, just knowing who's in trouble and stuff like that is going to be helpful. The rest of the titles and stuff like that you can choose for yourself, but another key one is going to be the friendly wanderer skill opacity. Now, you can also do enemies as well and yourself. Now, this is going to be how basically the opacity, how transparent the abilities of yourself, your friends, and your enemies are. And for this one, it sets friendly wanderer skill opacity to 10%. I really wish this would have a friendly beneficial skill and a friendly damaging skill, because the thing with this is a lot of your teammates that are healers will have rings around them and they'll set rings, and you'll need to know where they are to get the heals. So having this opacity up can be a little bit annoying because you'll see more flashiness when you're fighting a boss or something like that from all the DPS teammates, but it will also allow you to see those green rings and stuff that you need to get in there for healing as well. And then enemy wanderer skill opacity. This is a bit of a personal preference when you're playing in PvP and stuff. If you want to really see more clearly what the enemy is using and stuff like that, you can turn it up. Or if you can just see it at lower opacity and it doesn't distract you, you can do that one. But the main one is going to be the friendly wanderer's opacity, because that is something that you do want to see, those healing rings and stuff, so you don't die. The next tip is going to be Relic Sets. Now, this one is very useful, especially for exploring the world and stuff like that. You can create up to 3 Relic Sets. So my standard for like early game when I'm exploring is going to be my mobility one, which is going to have my jetpack and my jet board. Then I'm going to have like a damage based one. You know, you got like the mecha suit, you got the rocket launchers, and then I'm going to have the puzzle one, which is going to be the cube and the Omnium hand cannon, because these are going to be used for certain puzzles around the map. And so what you can do is, if I go over here and you look down the bottom right hand corner here, you can see that I've got this arrow. Now I can either click that arrow or I can use Keybind G to change between the sets. So the one catch is you have to be out of combat to use this. Now, if you want, you could go with more damage dealing ones, try and dodge out of combat and then go back in. But the way I like to play it for general exploration is basically normally you're going to leave it on the jetpack one because it's going to be the most valuable. But what I like to do is I like to have that as my standard one. Then if I come up to a certain puzzle that maybe, for instance, needs me to use the Omnium hand cannon, then I can just go ahead here and I can do that and I can shoot it out and get that happening, or I can go ahead and use the cube and blow things away. So those are like, that's my next preset. And then if you want to have some damage, we can go in here and we can use the rocket launchers, and then we can, you know, get into our mech suit, and you can have your damage dealing options in another tab, and you can just click G to swap through them. And if you're out of combat, keep in mind like that the things do disappear. The equip of the weapon or whatever it is does disappear when you swap sets, but then we can just drop back, and then, like I said, most of the time I'm going to sit with this one with the jet board and the jetpack, and then I can swap between if I want to. The next tip's going to be fairly similar, and that is weapon sets. Unfortunately, there's no quick key to swap weapon sets, but if you hit the letter N keybind, or if you're on a mobile, you just got to go into the menu and go into your weapons, you can create weapon sets. Now, for exploring in the early game, it's really nice because two elements that you really want to have access to at all times is going to be fire and ice. Fire more predominantly, there's more obstacles that need fire to clear, but also ice does have some. So as you can see, this is my main weapon set, and I have fire, which is really nice. However, if I get to an obstacle that I need to use ice to clear, I do have my second weapon set here that has the bow, and I can swap over to that, jump out, equip my bow, and I can just go and, you know, shoot whatever I need to shoot with ice, unlock it, and then I can hit N again. I can quickly swap over to my main weapon set, jump out, and now I'm back going again. So that is very, very handy, especially if you don't have fire or ice in your main weapon sets that you are using. The next tip is going to be always pay attention to your mini map. Now, your mini map will get these little white diamonds in it that, if you don't know what they are, it basically means there's something interactable. Normally, it's going to be something that's going to give you a summon. So keep an eye out on your mini map and watch out for these things, because you can get some nice rewards from it. So for instance here, I see this little thing. So what am I looking for? I can jump off the edge here, and we'll be able to see that there's actually one of those mini volcano type things there. So this is also a good chance for me to demonstrate why I have those gear sets set up. So I can fly down to here now, and I can just hit letter N. I can swap over to this gear set, swap back, and now I have my bow available. I'll just equip my bow, and then I'll just go here and I'll shoot that, and then we'll be good to go. And then that's going to melt out, and we should be pretty good. Now, these things are always a little bit awkward to collect, but what I normally do on these ones is jump, fly, and then just slowly go down and then press the F to get it. There we go. Happy days. But yes, definitely always look at your mini map in case you see any of those little white diamonds, because they're going to have goodies for you. Another tip also tied into the map is that sometimes your mini map will not show you all the available supply pods in the area. Sometimes they'll be just outside of the scope. So opening your normal map from time to time will find you some extra supply pods. For instance here, as you can see, there's no supply pods on my map. Now if I hit map, I can see here, one is over next to this hut, which obviously you can look at this hut and know there's going to be something there. But this one down here, I wouldn't have seen unless I opened my map. So now I can actually turn around and go towards that direction, and then it will pop up on the map. And then I can obviously climb up over here, and I can go ahead and get that one there. So that's just another little tip. Opening your map from time to time. I normally don't do it on purpose. It's more normally when I'm going to teleport somewhere, I open my map and I'm like, oh, there's another supply pod there. So that is the other tip on the map. And the final tip that I do have, I couldn't get myself stuck in the game. It's happened to me before and I've used it. But if you do ever get stuck in the game, we can just go over here and we can go into the settings, and this button here will be an unstuck button, and you can click that and will get you out of anywhere you're glitched in, anything like that. It will just teleport you out and reset you. So if you're ever stuck in the game, go ahead and use that. It will get you out. So that is going to be it for these beginner tips. Like I said, these are not things that are vital to your gameplay to get you through the game, but they're just nice little things that maybe will increase the efficiency of the way you do things, or maybe just the enjoyment that you have in the game. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.